all of the manifestation techniques work. The vision boards, the affirmations, the acting as if, the being, the writing it down, the scripting. There's a million techniques to manifest. However, one thing that I've been thinking about recently is when I really look at the big picture of the world, we talk about how people are, you need to be in alignment, you need to be high vibe, you need to be manifesting for the good of others. And we have a lot of these kind of regulations around manifestation, like you need to be wanting things that is for the good of all, or things like that. And when I really start to pull back out of this manifestation techniques, out of this new age techniques, out of high vibe techniques, you need to be heart centered. You need to be, thinking for the collective. The manifestation only happens if you truly feel it in its highest form. These things are true. But also, when I really look around, I see people that, are not high vibe, not in alignment, don't have self-love, absolutely hate themselves. If you look at some of the most successful people in the world, they actually a lot of times have extremely low self-esteem. If you look at people who have manifested the biggest abundance and are living in their destiny, a lot of times, we hear how many times have we seen celebrities, actors, musicians, when the mask is down, they're like hating themselves. But that has not stopped them from living their dreams. That has not stopped them from creating abundance. That has not stopped them from calling in insane amounts of success, more than they could ever think of. And then on the other side, I know a lot of people who do everything right. They do all the courses, all the meditations, all the breath work, all the, the scripting, this technique, that technique, all of these things. And their manifestations never come through. They're still struggling. They still can't create what they want to create in this world. So that gets me thinking. I'm like, okay, well, like, let's use the example of like a crackhead. They're going to get that hit. They're not in alignment. They're not being heart centered. They're not doing it for the good of the collective. They're not feeling as if they already have it, but they will manifest the money for it. They will manifest for someone's wallet to fall at that moment, for a car door to be left open for them to steal the perfect thing that is the exact amount of money that they need to get high at that moment. And then we have people doing everything right who cannot get it. And this leads me to believe that what is for you will always make its way to you, and what is not for you will not make its way to you. And you cannot will what is not for you, and you cannot miss what is meant for you. So, this is all of these like manifestation techniques that we see, they work. Of course they work. But then this gets us kind of thinking like, do we want those things because down the line they're meant for us? Are we manifesting the things that we already know are meant for us? And like when we really start to look at all of these different aspects of manifestation, then really the only thing that you need to do is be yourself, be who you are, be what you want, be honest with yourself. Like another thing too is like a lot of times in these spiritual manifestation techniques, you can't really manifest something that is like selfish or like not good enough for manifestation. Like, say you want to manifest a lot of followers or a lot of money or something, not for the reason of helping people, just for your own selfish needs or your own desires or your own ability to want to feel attention, to feel wanted, to feel these things. People manifest that every single day, all the time, without it having to be I want this so I can help people. And I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm not saying that this is what you should do. What I'm saying is like people are being so hard on themselves in their manifestations. Like, are their manifestations worthy of manifesting? Are they a good person for wanting this? And it's like, remove the judgment. The judgment of yourself is what's preventing you from doing these things. Not because, oh, I need to only manifest to help people. It's beautiful to help people. I love helping people. It feels great. Everybody loves helping people, honestly. Everybody that when they have the opportunity to help someone loves it. It always feels good. It always feels amazing to help someone. But at the same time, judging yourself for maybe wanting the big house, wanting a lot of money, wanting all of these things. You said, not Evan with the makeup tips. Evan B, powder your nose, girl. You sound like Rudolph. It's actually there on purpose, Evan B. Um, Listen, you already know I'm not coming with the love and light today when I'm saying a crackhead is gonna get their thing. So don't start with me. I was already off to a bad start today. So just be mindful, okay? I'm already off to a bad start today. So don't start with me because also I don't have stuff prepared for this. Let's go to the comments. Okay, I was thinking the same thing. Like, are we manifesting these things because we already have them in the future? You said not on this Tuesday. Exactly. Maybe another Tuesday, not on this Tuesday. Because, oh, Gala, I miss you. You look so cute. Always. Every time I see your posts, I miss you. Let me look at some of these comments here. You said you love when the jersey comes out. I know. But damn, you look good in green. Thank you. Thank you. They're in the wrong live. I can't hear anything. Is it mine or is everybody like that? No, it was in the beginning. I manifested silence. It worked by my mic not working. Well, Tom, you're very powerful. You should manifest something more valuable than that in your life. Um, if this is the live that y'all want to do today, we can do it. I'm ready for the trolls. Bring them. Brings up the old age question of free will versus destiny. Let's talk about free will versus destiny. Oh, hi. What's up, Mike? Having TikTok and Instagram, it's all people that I know in real life on Instagram. Okay, so we talk about free will versus destiny. So, um, free will versus destiny. So I do like the concept that lately I've been thinking about this where I feel like if you are in alignment, then you walk your destiny. You're living your destiny when you're in alignment. I've started to believe that free will is the lesser option. So if you're out of alignment, you need to use your free will to get back in alignment to live in your destiny. But if you are in alignment and you're walking the path of your destiny, the path that is basically materializing right in front of you because it is the destined path, then free will a lot of times is less than choice. It's the less than choice. So if you're in a bad place, you need to use free will to get where you need to go. With manifestation, if you're in a bad place or not where you want to be, then you need to use manifestation to get aligned. And then you can surrender. And this is what I'm a big believer of at this time in my life is anything that is happening in my life that is good is different than what I would have imagined and manifested. And that's because a lot of times we're manifesting from a place of lack, from a place of hunger, from a place of not having, right? From a place of comparison. So much of our manifestations come from a place of comparison, come from, well, this other person is making this amount of money, or this other person has this thing, or this other person looks this way, or this other person, whatever. So a lot of our manifestations are actually coming from comparison. And since social media, all of these things, we didn't really see into people's life the way that we did before. And now we're seeing everybody's lives and everybody's circumstances and behind everyone's door into everybody's bedrooms, into everybody's bathrooms, into everybody's routine, into all of these things. And now, are our manifestations actually purely what they should be, which is actually aligned for us? Or is our manifestations, being really influenced by other people's destiny, by other people's path? So, this is why, I think one of the best things that we can do is get yourself in alignment and then surrender to, this is why, Christians a lot of times will talk about like God's plan, that you make plans and God laughs. And God's plan is better than your plan. And it's like the universe is way more creative than you are. The universe has a way bigger imagination than you do. So I think there's also this area of all different areas of your life. So, say you have like 10 different areas of your life. You might not be 100% in alignment in all of those areas. So, you can identify the areas that are not in alignment and then work on using your free will in those areas. So, say, for example, let's say, like an area of life is, okay, health, financial abundance, business, family, career, community. Um, yeah, let's use those 6 for now. There's more areas of life than that. We can break it down a lot more. Spiritual. Okay. So let's use this 6 or 7 areas of life. If you look at these areas, and then if you assess on a scale of 1 to 10, like how happy am I with this area of life? And where do I really like see myself going in that area of life? Like, am I on the trajectory to that? Not am I already there? Have I achieved everything? But in that area of life, where am I at? And so, oh, hi there. So let's say, for example, health. Okay. Let's say you're like, you know what? I'm doing pretty good in my health. I'm in good health. I could work out more or I could eat better. But in general, let's say 8 out of 10 in health. And then let's say like career. Oh, well, career, I don't know. I'm not really satisfied right now. Maybe you're a 5 out of 10. With your spiritual journey, you feel super aligned. And then you're like, okay, well, I feel like I'm a 10 out of 10. Not of all that could ever be achieved, but like a 10 out of 10 in that area of life. So then you kind of see which areas of life in community. Maybe your community is low. Maybe you're like, you know what? I do want more community. Maybe in community, I'm a 2 out of 10. So then you see which areas are in alignment and which ones need work. And then you use your free will to get those other areas in alignment. So that's where you do use the visualization, the scripting, the affirmations, the vision boards, the acting as if, taking action. But then let's say in certain areas of life, you're at an 8 out of 10 and it's unfolding perfectly. In your love life is great. In your this area of life is great. And then you're like, okay, so in this area, I'm in alignment. In this area, I can surrender to my destiny versus having to like manifest your whole life. Because I really, I am a big fan of manifestation. This is not to bash manifestation. I'm a big fan of manifestation. However, I've realized in the last year, the universe knows better than I do. And when I get out of the way, amazing things happen. And again, what is for you can't miss you. You cannot miss what is for you, but you can use your free will to step off of your destiny, you know? So that's why you have to really be honest with yourself. Which areas of life are you happy with and which areas of life are you not happy with? And sometimes if maybe someone's in a low state, someone's really not happy with their life at this time, then maybe they just will kind of like blanket statement, "Oh, my life sucks. I'm not where I want to be. I'm this, I'm that. And nothing's working out for me. I'm hitting these dead ends. I'm exhausting all of this energy that is not working for me." And then you're actually kind of like shitting on all of these different areas of life, but it might just be maybe you're lacking community, or it might just be the financial area, or it might just be you need to adjust your health. So then you see which area of life needs your free will to get in alignment. But then in other ways, like when you're in alignment and everything is falling into place and everything is coming together better than what you could have dreamt of, then in those moments, sometimes we use our free will to get into our own way. Like, say, for example, with my, oh, sorry, I didn't see that the comments were continuing here. You said that's been my focus, and my anxiety and stress went way down with the surrender, coupled with changing my inner voice. Thank you. I needed to hear this tonight. Oh, nice. I'm glad, guys. I'm bringing it into Instagram, even though I hate this angle. And but it's good. The universe manifested a cure for your disease today. Oh, wow. Beautiful. What is that? Was it like discovered today, or did it manifest into your reality? So this is the thing. So basically, let's say, for example, with, meeting my husband, because we have a lot of this discussion around free will and destiny. And, he talks about how basically when he had first introduced himself to me on the cruise, that he really had to like not overthink it and he had to kind of get out of his own way and just do it, just speak to me. Because then that sets off the chain of reactions, which then later that night when I saw him, I was like, oh, that guy was nice. I'm going to go sit with him and I'm going to go talk to him. And then I'm going to be like, put your number on my phone right now and text yourself right now. So, because when you get out of your own way and don't overthink, and that's what it is, it's the overthinking, which sometimes is our free will convincing us out of walking the destined path. So, really, so much of what we have to do is just do it, just take the step. And this comes up in people's hypnosis sessions all the time. Like, so many of the QHHT clients, higher self, say the same thing. Just do it. Just take the step. It doesn't matter. There's no wrong answer. Just do it. And when you start to get more comfortable just taking the step without overthinking it, then things unfold. And then all the other dominoes fall into place. Like this concept, which I think might come from Deepak Chopra, is about like all these dominoes on a board. You can only see the domino that falls into you and the one that you fall into. But there's a whole intricate design from this view, not as one of the dominoes, that is all intricate. So we don't know the domino all the way over there that hit that chain reaction, 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 which then eventually leads into the domino that falls into you and the one you fall into. And that's why you have to get out of your own way. And this is also why we have to get out of our own way with manifestation, because half of the time we're manifesting from a state of lack. We're manifesting from a state of comparison. We're manifesting from a state of what it's supposed to look like. And that's that's somebody else's destiny. Like you could be treading water on your own path. It manifested into reality. I lost a tab for a web page for a doctor when I'm trying to refind it. And then it came up. Wow. That's what I mean. Like you said, you're the president of the local chapter of the Overthinkers Anonymous. A lot of people are thinkers in this overactive mind. And now, like as I'm getting into the human design, seeing how much stuff is like what they would call the spleen center. So like the spleen is like kind of like the physical, it has a lot to do with fear. So there's like 7 gates, and those 7 gates are fear gates. And it's very basic in what it's saying. And I know the word fear triggers a lot of people because a lot of people are like, I'm not scared of nothing. I don't got no fear, so then they like start shutting down around that information. But fear of everything, right? Fear of dying, fear of anything, like really basic human functions. And what they talk about in the splenic center, and then a lot of people are spleen authority. So they're driven by the authority of the spleen. And that doesn't mean that they live in fear all the time, because fear, in the concept of human design, the way that they describe it is that fear actually creates intelligence. The fear of dying is the reason why people have become intelligent. This is why the species has evolved, is because of these different fears has led to human evolution. Survival is being one of the greatest fears that drives everything. However, those signals that come from that lower part of the body bypass the mind. A lot of decisions could bypass the mind. The more, and like I said, I'm going to do a whole series on human design in the coming months. The more that I have like a really good grasp of it. So if you guys ask questions, I actually can answer questions beyond what I know right now. But when as I'm looking into it, it's like people need to be making decisions either from their emotional authority, from their sacral authority, which is like the gut feeling, from their splenic authority. These signals that come from the body of yes or no is how most people should be making their decisions. And that would bring them closer to being in alignment. I have a sacral authority. So that gut feeling of it's a yes or a no bypasses the mind and says yes or no before the mind. But then if I get my mind involved, I can say, well, maybe. And then what if? And then what's happening is actually we're getting away from the destined path and we're using our free will to choose the lesser path, which is why we have to get out of our own way. Oh, Carolyn, you're a 6'2" also. No wonder. No wonder. Us 6'2s are magnets for each other. You've been on the human design path for a while, and I'm at a frustrating stage of doing everything correctly, but no next step that you want to do is arriving. Okay. Oh, wow. You're a 6'2" splenic projector. Wow. Cool. 6'2" magnets, right? Whitney, too. Wow. Lots of, you're a 6'2" as well, Donna. Oh my God. I mean, we're just a bunch of 6'2s hanging around. Wow. Another splenic projector. Wow. So, Ariel, you're saying that you're doing everything correctly, but no next step that you want to do is arriving. Is it possible that the thing that you want to do might be different than where the path is leading you? And I'm not saying to do something you don't want to do. Okay, here's a great example. When I was a kid, my biggest dream was to be a film director. From the time I was like 5 years old, I remember like, I want to make movies. Since the second grade, which is like what, 7, I would take my best friend into the backyard and I would direct her in the movie. She would be the main actor and I would play all the supporting roles and create the whole story. And I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to come in and be the other person. And she was the main actor. And I would create the whole story and play all the other characters and then like do the plot twists and all of these things. And I wouldn't say like, oh, we're going outside to like play. I'm like, oh, we're going outside to make movies. We didn't have a camera. We didn't have anything. And so all I wanted to do when I was a kid was make movies. That desire did not go away. I went to film school, had my whole journey with film school. That's what led me to move to LA. That's what led me to work in film. Did not have a good experience working in film, pre-Me Too. And then that really kind of like tainted I'm like, "Oh, I cannot climb the film ladder. I'm not gonna be like taken advantage of, or I'm not gonna get yelled at or treated like shit over a Diet Coke or some actor that doesn't wanna get out of a trailer. That's not for me. I can't live like that." So then I had the idea that, okay, then I'm just gonna only like write, and I'm going to write TV shows and movies. And up until 6 months before my first TikTok, I still thought that that was going to be my life path. for 30, 25 to some 27 years. That was my dream. And then I ended up posting on TikTok, and then my whole life changed. And now I have a different path. However, all of those things that I learned, storytelling, story structure, editing, video stuff, audio stuff, even though I completely royally fucked that in the beginning of this. All of the lighting, all of these skills that I learned help me. Even the story writing structure helped me actually to understand human nature because it's all the hero's journey. There's only so many stories, there's only so many plots. So, the thing that I was manifesting my whole life that I wanted to do, there was no such thing as TikTok or YouTube or Instagram when I was 5 years old. When I was 25 years old, these were not really a thing like this. What I'm doing right now didn't really exist in a path that I could see that happening. TikTok itself didn't even exist at that time. So a lot of times the thing that we desire is actually just a way for us to gain the skills of what we're truly meant to do. And I tell this to people all the time, living in LA for so long, I had a lot of friends that are actors, and they still really like to have the desire to be an actor. But I'm like, there's new things to do and new paths that are being created every day. Like doing what I do, whatever the hell anybody will call it. You tell me what I do. I don't know what to call it. That was not a path to do before. So a lot of times people want to be an actor, but that's actually teaching them how to perform, how to be in front of people, how to speak with confidence, how to use their body expressively, how to, be part of a story, how to tell a story, how to write a story, how to read a script, how to be on camera. That might be leading them to a path that they can't even fathom yet. So I think a lot of times we have to be open to the thing that we've been dreaming of is actually maybe leading us somewhere else. Another good example of this is Vishen, who created Mind Valley. So, Vishen, with his background, his family, he comes from an Indian family, wanted him to, work in technology. They wanted him to work for Microsoft. So like his family's dream for him was to like work for Bill Gates. His dream for himself was to be a performer, actor, celebrity. And he did those things. He did get a job at Microsoft at some point, and then he did do some acting, but neither of those things were leading to like the real path. And it was still feeling like, what am I doing? And I'm chasing this, and it's not what I want, and it's not where I want it to be. But these are the things I wanted, but I'm doing it, and it's still not coming together in the right way. And now look, Vishen took the technology to create Mind Valley, to create an online platform of courses, and then all of his skills from acting and performing and being on stage and using your body and expressing yourself and being comfortable speaking in front of people, and combined them to now create Mind Valley, a spiritual platform where he really is the best teacher on the platform. You know, I haven't done all the courses, I've done a lot of the courses, and he is like, there's a lot of good programs on there, but he has the best like embodiment of the character. So sometimes the thing that we are being led to do, that like passion, that like, I can't not do this, sometimes is just giving us the skills to be able to do the thing that we're really going to do, that we cannot even imagine that that's what we're going to do. Mark said, "Did it feel like your life fell together on accident now that you look back on how you landed there doing this live?" You know, it did not feel like an accident, but it's not how I would have written it. It's more fulfilling. I wouldn't be here in Louisiana right now. If I was manifesting every single thing that I thought I wanted and all of my desires and all my manifestations came true, then I would actually be somewhere else. I didn't even think of how good and fulfilling it could be, you know? I'd be manifesting if I was manifesting, which is why I've surrendered to manifesting. When I was you said Alex Ferrari is another example of that from Next Level Soul podcast. I don't know a lot about his journey. Oh, thanks, Megan. Good to see you. And look at you, Megan. That is like one of those things of being in the right place in the right time and the things unfolding exactly perfectly. You're a perfect example of that. Sorry, banging my thing here. Oh my God, you're in Louisiana. Are you in Louisiana? No, I'm in Louisiana because my husband is working here. So I wouldn't have manifested because honestly, I didn't even think how good it could be. Same. I got what I so much wanted professionally, and now I don't want it. And that's the thing is sometimes it's about what is unfolding. And this is why, I'm talking about manifestation tonight. It's like, oh, you are new. Oh my God, look at all these Louisiana people here. Oh, in Lafayette. I'm maybe an hour and a half away from Lafayette. But it seems like there's fun stuff to do there. You should message me on Instagram. Um, yes. Yes. Very thought provoking. Thank you for answering. I have a similar path, so many skills waiting for the spleen to hit. Right. No, this is the thing is that like that's what's happening in your life currently. This is the thing is like, oh, and you're in Alexandria. Oh my God, look all these Louisiana people. The crew is coming in. He was a filmmaker and swore he'd be the next Quentin Tarantino, but something always kept him from the top, and now his skills made his podcast. Wow. Very, very similar to my story. I thought I was going to be the next Quentin Tarantino as well. And here you are. I can't even get the freaking mic to work on my own live that I've been doing every week for 2 years. Um, like but that's what it is it's these things that lead us towards what our true path is. And that's why we have to get out of our own way. We have to get out of the overthinking and the promises to the old self, to the promises to the person who wanted that thing. So, like, say, for example, I had talked about this on a live a few months ago because I accidentally, I don't know what word to use. Um, for some reason, something compelled me to eat like a whole mushroom chocolate. Well, I ate half of it, but it was many doses. And I ended up having this really rough experience. And but part of that experience that I had with those mushrooms, it was right before I was leaving LA, and I had to really, like, let go and grieve the person who brought me to LA, meaning the younger version of myself who wanted those things. And I'm not saying to give up on your dreams. I'm saying allow your dreams to evolve into something bigger. Allow yourself to surrender instead of beating yourself up for the fact that all of your dreams and hopes and wishes are not here yet. And everything that you saw yourself doing is not manifesting in the way that you dreamt them of being. Allow that to be what brought you to your next big thing, to what you're truly meant to do. The spiritual path, especially, can get exhausting if you let it. Right. The spiritual path is exhausting. You need to be perfect. You can't judge anymore. You have to eat right. You have to talk right. You need to present yourself right. Don't have a negative thought. Don't do that. Oh my God, don't allow negative emotions in. What if you manifest some negative reality? You need to control your every word. You need to do all things right all the time, or then not only can you not judge others, you're going to be consumed by judging yourself for not doing it perfectly. Yeah, the spiritual path is exhausting as hell. And that's what I'm saying. Well, like what I said at the beginning of this is what's for you cannot miss you. Everybody who is so out of alignment, look at celebrities. They're living their destiny that they were meant to live. And most of them are not taking care of themselves, don't think highly of themselves, are fighting for every day to get by, are not living in authenticity, are putting on a mask every day, and they're living in their destiny. Are they enjoying it? Some, you know? But that's the thing is like, what's for you is going to find you, whether or not you have all the perfect thoughts, whether you do all the perfect things, whether you do the meditation or not every day. That's what you have to believe in. You need to believe that no matter what, you got up and you didn't meditate. You got up and you didn't go to the gym that day. You got up and you ate the wrong thing that you knew you weren't supposed to eat. You did the thing, you didn't do the right thing, you did the bad thing once again. And still, what is your path? What is your destiny will always find you still. That's the type of trust and belief that you need to start living in. Right? What's meant for you will find you no matter what. Do you believe star seeds get their break later in life? I think the star seed topic needs to stop, honestly. That's how I feel. The star seed topic, when you're initially waking up spiritually, it expands you. Oh, the Galactic Federation, the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians. Oh no, not the reptilians, not the grays, not the bad guys. And then what it is you get further and further from the self. The true spiritual journey is the spiritual journey of the self. So you become so fixated on things outside of yourself that may or may not even exist, that you start identifying with these things and you start getting further away from the human experience. You start getting further away from the things that you're actually meant to do. Oh, the frequencies are coming and the Galactic Federation is going to come and save you and change things. And then the star seeds, you're not supposed to be here. You're here to save everybody else because you're different. Sadly. Yeah, we're all different, but we're all the same. So I actually think it's fun, it's exciting because people feel different and they want to lean into being different. They wanna lean into being weird, and then it starts to pull them away from their actual spiritual journey, and it just starts to become another form of spiritual bypassing, where you're not willing to look at your shit because you're here to save the human race. You're here to bring on the new Earth timeline. Yeah, you said it's some chosen one shit. Exactly. It's the Jesus story for a new flavor of people. And it's okay to be the chosen one. We're all the chosen one, right? Everybody's the chosen one because there's only one, right? Everybody is one. Everybody is equal. So yeah, there is only one because there's the oneness. So yeah, everybody's the chosen one. But like this fixation on the outside of the Lyrans, the Arcturians, they're here. Now these beings are here, and this ascended master, and this person who may or may not have lived 2,000 years ago, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Buddha, this one, that one. This is getting you further from yourself. This is a distraction from the true journey, from the true what you're really here to do right now. You said you love that. We're all one. Everyone is the chosen one. Exactly. There's only one. So this is the thing, is like this concept of like, oh, the three-eye atlas is coming to pick up the star seeds. All right, well, don't stay out too late. It's going to get cold out there. Make sure you come in at some point. Make sure you come in and take a warm shower after you're done being chosen and waiting for the things outside of yourself to do something. And this is this is all of this. The things outside of yourself, even, yeah, it's great to do the meditation. It's great to do this. It's great to do that. But you need to do, whether you fuck up, as bad as possible. Like, you can do all the messed up things. What you just do is don't judge yourself. Know that you're doing the best that you can at every moment. You said, and then they get caught up so much in the new age, quick ascension topics, right? Where are you going? Where are you going? Another timeline, another dimension. They're coming. Not the Galactic Federation. Not another government. Oh, I'm sure they figured it out. Right. Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. An alien government figured it out. Okay. Sure. Great. Sure thing. It's a bunch of nonsense. And I needed it before, when I was not willing to be honest with myself about a lot of things. When I was not willing to admit a lot of things about myself to myself that I couldn't even see from myself, because the ego is so clever that it actually tricks you into believing things about yourself that are not true. You're going to travel the multiverse. Peace out. Mhm. Plus the fact that we don't really have past lives, they're all simultaneous, right? Then we start getting into really brain bender stuff, right? Past lives is a useful tool, but really it's a mirror of the now, because there's only the now. And this is why, release the karma bullshit too. There is nothing from some past life that is binding you to right now. Again, this is all spiritual bypassing stuff. And take it from me, because I went down worse than all of you, down all those rabbit holes and believed it thoroughly. So that's why I'm the best person to tell you it's bullshit, because I lived it. I done been in spiritual psychosis already. I already went down deep, dark into that rabbit hole where there was no light left. I get it. Like, I know how fun and exciting these topics are, but it's an escape from the self. The past life stuff, past lives are useful because, I do the QHHT. People have past lives that they experience. I tell them afterwards, take or leave the past life in any which way. If it is good for you to believe that you lived that life, that's good for you, for your health, for your benefit, for your mental state, for what you need to learn right now. If you want to see it as a mirror of right now, that's very helpful too. It's like seeing your story through another perspective. It's like your character in a different story. And sometimes that helps us to see our story better. And then I always remember, you get to decide like 10% of life after your Monroe views it. Hmm. You said, do I still do sessions? Yeah, I still do sessions. And they're amazing. Like, they're incredible. The type of messages, this is why my perspective has also changed a lot, because doing all of these QHHT sessions, like, has made me realize how much most of this stuff doesn't matter. Because when people's higher self speaks through them, it's so simple. Oh my God. It's so simple. All of the stuff that people are channeling is so complex. They're making it complicated. Nothing is that complicated. It is really that simple. You are really here to experience. You're really just a character. You're really just trying your best. And if you mess up, great. And if you do it right, great. It's okay. N- just do it. Just experience. Just feel it. Just try out that thing. You're afraid to love again? Well, try loving again. What if they break your heart? Well, then you experience something else, and then you do it again. And it's like, that's the type of stuff that people's higher self says. Like, You said, do you still follow Dolores Cannon? I mean, yeah, Dolores created QHHT. I very much still love and respect Dolores Cannon's work. Um, I think a lot of people laid a foundation, and now that collectively we all like really get these topics, I think we can start going to the next level is what I think is happening. I think that these foundations needed to be laid of like past lives, karma, soul contracts. But now we realize, okay, the past lives are not exactly past. It's a mirror of right now. And then soul contracts are not really something that you agreed to before being born. There's something that you're creating in the moment right now. So make the decision right now to change it. This is the real manifestation. Make the decision in the now that this is your new life. I think it's a rite of passage. The conspiracy is stepping stone, really evolve into where you are now, right? I agree. I do believe that this stuff is all, yeah, it is stepping stones. Kind of like if you're like, they say like in like the Freemason stuff that like you'll learn something and then in the next level find out that everything you learned in the past level is not true. And then you move up again and you find out that everything you learned already is not true. And then you move up again. And I always used to think that was like purposely to mind fuck people when they would talk about these secret societies, how when you would go up a level, everything was fake from the previous level. And then you go up a level again and you find out everything. And I thought this was like a mind control thing. But as I evolved on my own journey and continue evolving consistently, get it now. It's because everything's half truth. So the more that you learn, the less that you know. And that's why every time you move up to the next level of information, half of the stuff that you were taught were just stories, were just symbols, were just ways to understand. And really, everyone is only able to channel through their own filter, so they might interpret things slightly off if their filter is clogged, right? And that's why I really love the the work with the QHHT because hearing people's higher self, it's so simple. You said that makes no sense. What doesn't make sense about it? I'll explain it. But tell me what's not making sense. I'm down to talk. Explain it to me. Explain to me what you don't understand. Thoughts on those who on earth who are suffering, like children, starvation, genocide, torture, and the idea of higher selves for them, soul contracts, etc. Okay. We'll come back to that. Why does it change? It changes because the more you know, it becomes more expanded. So let's say, for example, what is a good simple example of this? I want to think of like a regular life example, not a spiritual example. Okay, like let's say something like in science, right? The more levels that you go up in science, the less the previous levels might make sense, right? Like when you go up to the quantum level, everything kind of goes out the window. Like a lot of things that are like in physics, when you go to the quantum level, start to get thrown out the window. Like, oh, well, okay, we have solid matter, right? But then you move up to the next level and you're like, oh, nothing is solid. It's all just a bunch of vibrations of particles and actually nothing is solid. So like that's what it means. Like as you go up in a level of information, you realize that like that is not actually the truth. But you need to understand these things in order to be able to gain more knowledge. You said it's the same spiritual realm. Why is it progressive? Because understanding, say, for example, what you learn in kindergarten is different than what you learn in middle school, is different what you learn in college. So you can't, even though the stuff that is in college is already there, you can't explain that to a kindergartner. In a kindergarten, you have to tell the story like this. And then as that person's awareness raises in whatever, capacity, then they're able to understand more and then more. And as you gain a bigger perspective, you can actually see a wider range of things. Okay, let's go back to the question of what about the people suffering in the world? Um, all these people suffering in the world. Our brains have matured. We can understand everything now. Well, yeah, I don't know if we can understand everything. We can just understand a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And so, okay, what about the people suffering? How do I want to say this? Everybody is happy. Oh, we're back. Oh, we're back. Wow. Multiple devices cut out. Only TikTok survived. Oh, now I'm freezing on TikTok. Is she glitching or is it just me? Huh. Interesting. We lost her. You're good now? Okay, I think I'm back. Um, Weird. Okay, she's back. Good, good, good. Okay. So, let's see. All right. I'm going to give an example that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for some people. And I'm not going to say the typical spiritual stuff that you've heard 10,000 times. I'm going to give a very specific example. Okay. Let's assume that all of us watching this stream right now, you're doing okay. Are you doing perfect? Are you doing the best ever? Do you have all the money you've ever wanted? Do you have all the material things you've ever wanted? No. Do you have the most perfect health? No. Do you have everything? No. However, if you're here and you're listening, you're probably getting by. You probably have food, a place to live, somewhere. You have your basic needs met, most likely. We're assuming that of everybody. And this is, okay. So we're assuming, even though your life's not perfect to the highest degree, you are comfortable enough to have the basic needs met. And here we are talking about the existence of God and why would God do these things, or why would the universe do these things, or is this real? Why would this? We're sitting here questioning, doubting, wondering. Like I said, people aren't going to like this example. Someone says, okay, children starving and genocide. The people, let's say, for example, in that situation, are not doubting if God exists. They're believing wholeheartedly, despite those circumstances. Oh, TikTok cut out now. What the hell is going on? So the child that is in starvation in the Middle East, experiencing genocide, that child is not doubting the existence of God. It's believing in God more than us. So who are we to project? We're sitting here questioning, why does this happen? Why is this? And then you have a child that is going through that and is like, well, God has a plan, and feels that fully. And this is just, like I said, an example that a lot of people are not going to like because it's fucked up. But that is like, So who are we to say what experience consciousness is having through every person? From our perspective, that is horrible. From the comfort from the comfort of our reality, and then we have people around the world who are suffering, who are praying, and their devotion is there, and they believe, and they feel God. They feel God's love. They feel God's support. And here we are, like, why? Why isn't God giving me 1,000,000 subscribers on YouTube? Why am I not manifesting the things that I want? Why don't I have more money? Why don't I have uh, enough money to go on a month-long vacation? And those people are saying, wow, God's plan. I'm grateful. I love him. I serve him. And I trust it beyond me. So who who are we to say? You said I'm not dieting. I'm just curious. If we could ever fathom in this incarnation what purpose this experience has for these tiny vulnerable souls. You love the example that you're providing. Well, everything is to experience. God doesn't give us things, he gives us opportunities. Do you believe in manifestation? Well, I'm talking about manifestation this whole live so far. And I'm talking about the question of whether we manifest or do we just call in the things that we know that are for us? And then sometimes we want to call in things that are not for us because we're comparing ourselves to other people. What God are you speaking of? Whatever God you want. All the gods, whatever God you believe in. It's all the same God. There's only one. We're all God. We're all the same. And I've said it a bunch of times that I'm the same amount of God as the worst person on earth, as you, as them, as everybody. We're all the same amount of God. Nobody is more than anybody else. And this is also why, the religious people sometimes get triggered because I don't think any person is more God. I think everybody's God's son and daughter. The soul wouldn't fully experience this life if it knew what it was supposed to experience. What do you mean by that? This channel should literally have 1,000,000,000 subscribers. You know what, Andrew? Well, let's manifest it. We forget the little things we should be grateful for, just breathing, waking up, being able to hear. God, the universe source, is experiencing everything with us, right? It's beautiful. To go deeper, our reality is perception, just like your recent video about afterlife. What your experience is based on what you believe. Right, right. If people really grasped who and what they are, they would manifest everything instantly. I think manifestation is mostly an illusion at the end. At the highest dimension, God's plan is fulfilled. I agree. It is about perception. We see media about those things. We aren't living in the same circumstances, hence why we perceive it differently based on these examples. The illusion of separation, lack of worthiness belief, lack of self-love, disconnection, distortion, right? Individuated. Are we God experience itself as individuated? Is our job to remember. So remember doesn't mean, oh, hey, Johnny. Let me see. Is our job to remember. Remember doesn't mean to remember your past life, to remember which, galactic federation ship you came from, you know, like to remember your past life and the War of Orion, to remember, you know, no, let me not start. When I start getting into the let me not. Um it's not to remember your past lives. It's not even to remember your purpose. It's not even to remember your mission or what you came here for. It is to remember, meaning like we've been dismembered from the one. There was one and it dismembered. And then to remember, which means to merge back with the one. And then we can remember that we are all one. That's what, why we split so that we can remember ourself. And there's only one, so it's to, you said, tell me more about the one. So first, there was darkness. Darkness is the original, right? Of course, everybody is like, oh, everything's light. Well, before light, there was darkness, the nothing. And the nothing then emerged this consciousness that said, oh, I am something. It went from nothing to I am something. And when this consciousness had the realization, or whatever words that we can use to describe something that is beyond anything that we could ever fathom, it was I am. I am something. And when I am was created, that's when light emerged from darkness. That's when sound, vibration, all the stuff, which is probably all the same thing. Light and sound are probably the same thing. It's just we receive it through two different holes, right? Well, four different holes, right? Because we've got two eyes and two ear holes. So because we get sound and light through two different things, we separate it. But most likely, sound and light is the same one thing. And so this energy, consciousness is like, I am something. And then it starts to expand. And then it's like, well, what am I? I am light. Well, I am dark too. I am this. Well, I am that too. I am this. And this is like what it says in the Bible, right? It says, I am that I am, right? And then it starts to become aware of itself. And as it becomes aware of itself, it goes from 0, nothing, to 1. And then 1 breaks into 2, right? Because I am the light and I am the dark. I am both. And then it splits into 3 and 4 because it's like a cell that splits. And then the cell splits again. And then these 4, I believe, become the 4 elements, the 4 Elohim, the 4 angels. And the I believe that it's angels, whatever we want to call angels, right? Because if we look at what angels are, they're really um, geometry. The biblically accurate angels are geometry. So this geometry becomes the 4. And then so this is like this third dimension is physical, but we cannot have the third dimension without the fourth because that's time. Why do we need time to create physical reality? Because if without time, without a past and without a future, physical reality ceases to exist, right? Because it would just manifest and poof away and manifest and poof away and manifest and poof away and manifest and poof away. But with linear time, we have the past. So now we have manifestation of yesterday, the day before yesterday, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 1,000,000,000 years ago. And then we have a future, which is easy for us to understand because we see that unfolding in front of us. So that becomes from 1, 2, 3 is the beginning of physical reality. And then 4, time, creates the holding of physical reality. Now we have here's a moment, 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 here's a moment. All of these moments will eventually come together again and again and be manifested again and again. And then it becomes like a sphere. And this is how we have a planet. So then it continues to be like, okay, well, I am light, I am dark, I am physical reality, I am time, I am past, I am future. And then it's like that I am starts to become I'm space, I'm a galaxy, I'm, planets, I'm water, I'm air, life forms, I'm organisms, I'm a cell. And it starts to be like So this one I am, this oneness starts to be like, well, I am this, I am this, I am this, I am this. And then, not sure if you're saying time creates gravity. I'm not really talking about gravity. We're talking on like a metaphysical level here with creating gravity. This is another topic. We're talking about the holographic model of the universe. So then creations happen, and then we have start to be individual consciousness, right? Way down the line, however long down the line. Then it's like, I'm a soul. And then I'm Jen. I'm Fembot. I'm Ashley James. I'm Jen. I'm Mikey. I'm Lady Whistleblower. I'm Karster. I'm Gracie. You know, I'm Eden. I'm Andrew. I'm Jacob. I'm Phil. And we start to become more and more I ams. But this is all still just one becoming more aware of itself. And then through that interactions with each other, this is how it experiences itself. Just talk about the holographic illusion of the universe. That's all. I'm a table. So, all of these things, this is what the oneness is. And then eventually it keeps like the one dismembers, dismembers, dismembers. It fractals, it fractures off, it fragments, it splinters, whatever the words are, continues to go, right? And then we're all mirrors of ourselves. So then, exactly, all these little pieces break off and allow us to reflect and see ourselves back. And then the one sees itself back through all of us. And then eventually, this is what Christ consciousness is. Christ consciousness is unity consciousness, it's the awareness that we're all one. So then, probably plants and minerals and animals, or some animals probably already know that we're all one. Planets probably know that we're all one already. So they have maybe already become aware of unity consciousness. And then each individual part comes back to that eventually, finally gets like the concept of oneness. And then finally, the concept of oneness slowly starts to like drop into the heart. And then it becomes the true knowingness. And then eventually, we all just keep playing this game until every single tiny little broken mirror of the one that is reflecting back to us becomes aware of itself. And when it all, I believe. Now, this is what I saw in the ayahuasca. So, you know, this is my belief. Because all of that, I think, is pretty collective belief. I think this part here is not what everybody agrees with, but because I saw it, that when we remember that we are the one, and not just the concept of the one, it starts as the concept and slowly it becomes into the heart. And then after it becomes into the heart, then it becomes embodied. And when we become aware, even just for a moment, we don't live in oneness. Even though you get there, you get to the embodiment, you get to the realization, you get to the feeling of oneness, you're not going to live in that every single day. You're still going to go and be in traffic and go and be in the grocery store and go and somebody's going to step on your toe. It's still going to happen. But we have these sparks of it. And then that merging back with the one. But as long as there's people who don't know that they're one, that are still killing each other, that are still hating each other. Half of the people in the spiritual community are still like the reptilians, the Orions, the Greys, the whatever bad guy, the political social activist people are still, they're the bad ones. No, they're the bad ones. No, they're the bad ones. Now they're the bad ones. The religious people, well, you're wrong. Well, you're wrong. The every race, well, this race, and then these are the bad guys. Well, these are the good guys. Well, these are the ones. And then they did this, and you did this, and your ancestors did this. And as long as all of that, of everybody who thinks that they're right, who thinks they're the good guy, as long as they still see themselves separate, that other people are the bad guy. Not that that is all the same, that that is all us. As long as we all still do that, then the game gets to keep going. So you can remember you're the one. And there still will be war. There still will be genocide. There still will be kids starving. There still will be these things because there's still parts of the one that have not become aware of itself yet. And before, I used to be like, "Oh my god, like, we gotta do something. We gotta save the world. We gotta save the planet. We gotta save the people. We gotta ascend. We gotta go to 5D. We got these Galactic Federation ready to come pick us up. We got the Three-Eye Atlas ready to beam us up." Like, I used to be like that. And then when I really experienced this and it became into my heart, into my body, then I was like, "Oh, actually, thank you for the war. Thank you for all the fucked up stuff because that's what keeps the game going. Not everybody figuring it all out and being love and light. No, actually, what keeps this game going of consciousness experiencing itself. And then also, I had the realization that I was like, oh, humanity figured this out 5,000 years ago with the Vedics. They figured this out probably 10,000 years ago with whoever the hell was there then. And whoever before that, and whoever before that, and whatever civilization before that. And we keep figuring it out again and again. Library of Alexandria, they figured this all out. But we want to keep playing the game. And that's why we incarnate again and we forget again. Because it's the best damn game in the whole universe. And when you're in it, it sucks. You want to get out of it. But then when you experience remembering, you get to be in the game with like the cheat codes of like, oh, well, that's okay. Everybody's where it needs to be. Everyone's doing what they need to do. Everybody's playing the exact right part because this is consciousness. Consciousness is already perfect. Everything is perfect. And then again, back to the manifestation stuff. When I had this feeling and this realization, and then what I saw is that when everybody does agree that they've changed, they remember and that the game is over, that the Big Bang goes the opposite of Big Bang, which was very scary to me. Because when in the beginning, when it was nothing, and then it became light, and it was like, I am, it was God's breath, the universe's breath. Consciousness is one breath. And that's I am expanding, I am light, I am planets, I am this, I am that. And it's like, imagine one really big breath that we take, how our cell experiences that. It's like a whole universe, like a skin cell. They live so shortly, right? So, like, one really big breath is a long time for the life of a skin cell. So, we think about us, these little small, tiny fragments way far from the original bang. And it's just one breath that just is like, it's I am expanding. And then there's like a point at the top where everybody kind of realizes they're the one. And we have like when you hold at the top of the breath work, the prana, and then you let the breath go and all comes back to the one and it becomes nothing again. And the whole game's over. And then God, universe, source, the creator takes another breath. And that other breath is like nothing that we could ever even fathom. What I saw in that ayahuasca vision of that was we're doing the second rendition. So what I saw, obviously, who knows if this is right, right? Of course. But that there was a breath before this. There was a big bang before this where it was one. And it was an experience of I am completely as one. And the breath got big, it experienced all as one, and then it contracted back to nothing. And then the breath of the universe, the breath of God, takes another breath of, oh, I am both. So first time it was I am one. This time is I am both. I am light and dark. I am woman and man. I am up and down. I am left and right. I am hot and cold. I am good and bad. I am all the things. And then every rendition of two, every rendition of duality, of binary existence, every single 0 and 1, every single thing that could ever be created under two. And then when even the lowest forms of us little humans, figure out, oh, I'm all one too. I'm all one. I'm both. I'm all. Then that's done. And then when this game is done, the game of duality, God takes another breath and does the Trinity. And then there's three. And that's unfathomable to us because it's not like, oh, what we see as Trinity is like mom, dad, baby. No, it's unfathomable to us what the universe of three could possibly ever be or ever look like or anything. And then that whole game will play out for who knows how long. From our perspective, billions of years. From, the cell of the skin, who knows how long. From the one, it's just one breath. Like that. And then they do it again. So, yeah. Thanks to whoever said, "Can you explain the one?" Um, that's why I feel the first day of the year is the winter solstice. It's the moment exhale ends and the breath. Yeah. So that's the thing too, is we have this nature cycle of so many different versions, right? We have it in nature. We have it in women's bodies. We have it in the moon. We have like this cycle of nature of creation and destruction, of creation and destruction, of creation and destruction, because that is nature. And this is the thing too, is like people are like, well, what about all the bad things happening in the world? And it's like creation and destruction. Mother Nature creates and destroys. Everything creates and destroys. Even unconsciously, right? We create and then we deteriorate over time, You said having those experiences, the realization was terrifying for me. Oh, the scariest thing I ever experienced was what I just described to you. It sounds beautiful, but it was the scariest thing I ever the scaredest I've ever been in my life was thinking that the universe had ended because I became aware of the one in my heart. Oh, that was the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my whole life. And even sometimes I think about it and it like literally like I'm like, "No." People are like, "Don't go into the light when you die because if you go into the light, you'll get reincarnated." I said, "Bring me back. I wanna do this again. I'm gonna stay in this sandbox until there's no other choice. I'm gonna keep living," or as my husband says, "Keep playing Westworld." I'm gonna keep playing. Like, I'm gonna keep doing that because the alternative, yeah, it's probably glorious, the alternative, too. There's no right, there's no wrong, but for me, I'm gonna be playing the game all the way to the end. Someone says, "What does this have to do with manifestation, or has this evolved into another topic?" It comes back to the original thing of what is for you will always find you because there's no other option. There's no other choice. It is what it is. So, will duality disappear to make way for a third? I think it will. It's unfathomable to us. In our reality, we will still experience duality. Some people say like, "Oh, we'll go to 5D and there'll be no duality." No. Even if there was a 5D that is gonna happen and a new Earth that's gonna happen, it's not utopia. It's just that the poles of let me come into the frame because I have smaller screens here. The poles are gonna be closer. So right now, they're all the way out here of left and right, light and dark, good and bad. If there was a utopia in this reality, if there was a 5D, if there was a new Earth, there would still be differences. They just wouldn't be so far apart that they can't understand each other anymore. Yeah, make the baddest sandcastle. That's the main thing for manifestation, understanding all of this, right? And that's the thing. Yeah, it won't be as toxic because people will be able to understand because they'll be closer differences to each other. But if shit people don't come enlightened, they won't they hold us all back from reaching united consciousness? No. There's nowhere else to go. There's only one place to go, and that's back to the one. And we have infinity to get there as long as you want to take to get there, you know? And if somebody wants to go back sooner, then when they die, they choose to stop incarnating and to merge back with the one. I'm a firm believer of that. So, yeah, this concept of like, there's nothing to be held back because we get to all experience it. Do you think going into the light is us coming out of another vagina? No. Mhm. The hardest part of manifestation is the release part. That's true. But then it gets easy when you play with it and you're just like, "You know what? Let me see how good it can get." Do you think we get to pick our player for each round? I do believe so, but I think that there's different things to it. Because, in the experience that I had with my, QHHT originally, it was picked for me, but I agreed to it. So it was like a group had found me as Jen for the body to go into. And then who knows? We get into some crazy, crazy stuff too, because then, of course, I was abducted by aliens when I was 5 years old. So then we get into some crazy, crazy because I don't know. Did I jack the body from that soul? Maybe. Mm, carjack? Get out. That's my body. I got some consciousness shit to talk about. Get your ass out of here. Do you believe in soulmates? Yes, I do. Of course, I believe in soulmates. Yeah. Walk in. I believe in walk in. You said God lets that shit happen. God lets it all happen. The worst thing that you can think of, God lets happen. And the best thing that you could ever think of, God lets it happen. Space is the great womb, feminine, infinite potential. So not the light, but the dark. Yeah, I agree. That's why. The love for the dark. Y'all gotta love the dark. Do you think we come back with a higher knowing or an advanced soul? Um, if we choose to. I think in general, more intelligence is held in the the body now, right? So like people are able to understand more. The collective consciousness and the collective unconscious has a lot more information. So I do think that when we come back into more advanced characters, kind of like a video game, right? If like, let's say like The Sims, Sims 2, Sims 3, Sims 4, I don't know what they're on, right? Each time the graphics get better, each time the programming gets better, each time. So it's something that is happening in the collective as well. So it's not about like necessarily souls being more advanced than others. There is souls who maybe value information more and go deeper into information, but I think it's also like the graphics of the game, the computing power of the game gets better. The characters of the game get better. The storylines get better, right? Like before, Dolores Cannon said that like all of the past lives that she used to do in the beginning were people picking potatoes. And she's like, most past lives are people picking potatoes. Let's see. What a great way to end my day, cooking for you and your dog because you're home alone. Nice. And catching alive. Thanks for being here. We're probably coming to an end now, around this hour and a half mark. It was a lot of juicy stuff in this, you guys. This was a lot of fun. I came off to a rocky start. If you're coming now and you want to go back and watch the beginning, if you're on Instagram or TikTok and you want to watch the beginning of the live, go to YouTube. But give me a couple minutes because probably delete it off of the YouTube, the technical error, but I think I have to wait 24 hours after the live before I can take a part out of it. You seem like children. Yes, it seems like children are coming back with previous knowledge. Yeah. Thanks a lot for some awesome info on some mind-bending topics. Thank you. Thank you. Explained the one so well. I love it. Thank you. Off topic, but I've been waiting to ask this. Is your current husband the same soul that was the knight and tried to save you in one of your past lives? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. That story from that past life, I don't think that that is um the same person. Yeah. I don't know a lot about that with my husband because I haven't done really any regressions since meeting him. I did get a little bit of information while I was in Monroe Institute, and I got some really interesting information about not really past life stuff with my husband. I don't know. Like, I would love to. I would love to when he's ready, see, if he wants to do a QHHT. From the day that I met him, I was like, I have to offer him. And then the second time I had spoke to him, I was like, okay, well, whenever you're ready, mm, the offer is there to do the hypnosis. And so, yes, now that we're married, the offer is still there to do the hypnosis. We were talking about it today. So I don't know. Maybe there will be something that comes up in his, or maybe some questions that we can ask his higher self. When I was at Monroe Institute, I got like a very quick glimpse of information. And what I saw was both of us not incarnated, both of us in between lives. So it was not a past life that I saw. And so in Journey of Souls, actually, I think in Destiny of Souls, they talk about, no, maybe Journey of Souls. I don't know. There's a section talks about advanced souls in one of the books. And it says that, okay, so you have a soul family that like you kind of all are like kind of born, your souls kind of all become aware of I am around the same time. And then you guys all start doing like, "Oh, let's learn greed together. Let's learn I'll kill you, you kill me. Let me hurt you, you hurt me. Let's go. You'll be the baby, I'll be the dad. You'll be this, I'll be the mom. You be this, I'll be your best friend. I'll be the person who cheats on you. I'll be the person who does this." Those experience of the souls, and then they keep growing. So all of these different like cluster, you said those aren't soul family. Well, we're talking about what is very well documented of Journey of Souls. So then these souls keep incarnating with each other and play all the different parts and all the different things. And then they come back to the afterlife together and they're like, oh, that was great. Now let's do it again. Let's do it again. And then it says in Journey of Souls, certain souls might grow in different directions and might start to then become specialists. And then they say that like you'll be in a group cluster and keep incarnating with the same people. And then eventually you start to learn higher lessons and do other things. And then you might become a guide for like younger souls. And so then like souls go from a cluster to more individuals. We aren't stuck with the same people, dude. My God, can you stop being triggered and derailing the freaking story because of whatever thing, people that you know in your life that you are feeling stuck with? Like, calm down. Whatever information you want to believe what you want to believe. I don't care. Like, I don't care. But calm down in the comments. So, this is the rhetoric that scares people. Okay, well then let me finish this story, you freaking fearmonger. So then eventually souls will evolve to kind of specialize in certain things. And then they start to learn different lessons. And then there's kind of then in the part of the book, oh my God. All right. Well, now you're blocked because I just can't because I don't want to see your, okay, goodbye. Anyway, I told you I wasn't in the mood today. So people become specialists of certain things. This is what it talks about in Journey of Souls. So, like, then those people maybe don't incarnate as much or incarnate as much learning these same lessons, or they don't play as much into these karmic lessons. And yeah, I know. And so, what I had seen while I was at Monroe Institute is that was where the only thing that I had seen of me and my husband is that we were both like kind of specialist type people, and that it wasn't probably from the original soul family, that we're connected after learning a lot of karmic lessons. That then is when we became connected versus like I fucked you over, you fucked me over, and then you were the mom, I was the mom, you were the dad, I was the dad, I was the kid, you were the kid. So I don't know. It was a very like quick kind of vision and download of it. And that's all that I have come across. So I don't really know beyond that. You said you decided to break a soul contract this year, and we always can. We always can break soul contracts at any time. You said you feel your children are in your soul pod. Probably is. Is your husband the guy with the face paint, Tony Ghazi? No, Tony is not my husband. No. I'm gonna tell him that though. You love Robert's books. They changed something in you 6 years ago. I love your comments. Very well researched, neutrally narrated, entertaining. I watch everything. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very much like TikTok has turned into FicFoc. Yeah, it sure has. That was a FicFoc over there. Killed my story, even though I still got through it. You said he's a sweetheart. Oh, he is such a sweetheart. Is who? Huh? I don't know what you're talking about, man. Tony is such a sweetheart. My husband's a sweetheart too. What happens when you break a soul contract? Nothing. You just choose differently. There's no consequences. Robert who? Robert Monroe, the creator of the Monroe Institute. Um, yeah, the YouTube chat is way more chill. All right. Well, there's that. Let's see. You said he shows up on your Instagram feed next to my videos. Aw. Like the live, join the Substack. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Anne. Thank you, Anne. Like the live, join the Substack. Um, yeah. I'm also, you guys, gonna be starting to offer the coaching again. So now that I'm settled in, I did some coaching last year, and then I kind of closed the books on the coaching because um it's a package. We'll do like 4 or 8 or 12 sessions and then work on something. And there's a lot of different things we could work on. It could be spiritual stuff, it could be life stuff, it can be a mix of that. And I had just closed my books on that because it was um my schedule was just crazy. I didn't know if I could commit, and I didn't want to like have someone that I'm coaching and then me not being able to like see them regularly to continue working on stuff. But now that I'm here and now that I'm settled, next week I'm going to be in LA. I don't know if I'm going to have a Tuesday night live. Maybe I have to pre-record something now that I think of it. Yeah, I think I have to pre-record something for next week's Tuesday night live. And then when I'm back, then pull a card. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Let's pull a card, you guys. How could I forget? Let's see. We'll do the Mike Wilcox deck that we've been doing. Could AI have an I am moment? Yes. I did a whole lecture on that on the cruise, which is how I met my husband. So yeah, I did a whole lecture on I do believe AI will have an I am moment. Um, yeah, I do believe that. And in some ways it already kind of has. Just wondering about the Substack. Yeah, so the Substack is the last Sunday of every month. We do a live event, and the live event is, and sometimes it'll be pre-recorded, that does happen sometimes. And it's a live hypnosis event where we do subconscious work. So what we've been doing for the last 8 months is called soul architecture, and we've been building on this subconscious work. And so it's 10 months, 10 classes. We're about to do the ninth one, and then our last one will be manifesting. But really a different type of manifesting, like really like now working through all this soul work. What are our goals going forward? And what really matters? Is God experience itself through the cloning system? I do believe so. If there's really clones, and I think the cloning thing is a lot of times, if it is happening, is lookalikes versus biological clones. But I think, yeah, God experiences itself through everything. God experiences itself through this microphone that wasn't working in the beginning. The Substack is so amazing. Love the hypnosis. It's been wonderful. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this is our card for the river. The river. Okay. Let's get you know, this is my first time doing the Instagram live and messed me up a little bit, but I think I'll do it again. I think I'll be doing it again, but I need to figure out like a better setup. Um, and at 8 o'clock on the dot, my husband was texting me and being like, "Where are you on the live?" And I'm like, "You're making me nervous. Let me be late if I'm late." Oh my God. Can I find it? The river. Okay. All right. Just had a meltdown. Okay. The river. Water, obstacles, path, power, flow, change, and journey. The river, the ever winding, ever flowing, calls us to find the best course to take. On one hand, the river moves around obstacles and takes the path of least resistance. On another, with persistence, it cuts through the toughest rock to make its way. Even when earth is pulled out from under it, it does not stop flowing. It makes a spectacular waterfall. The beauty in navigating through rough terrain is also apparent. Us humans are just as magnificent while overcoming adversity. If life moves us you know what? If life moves us energetically like a river towards our goals, dreams, and desires, and a boat is ruddered by our focus. I need to read that again. If life moves energetically like a river, if Yeah, okay. If life moves energetically like a river towards our goals, dreams, and desires, and our boat is ruddered by our focus, then oftentimes we are not pointed down the river. Going with the flow doesn't mean getting tossed down the river helplessly like a leaf at the mercy of the water, but to skillfully and deliberately navigate the river. When our focus goes upon the past or any other distraction or negative feeling, we are turned around or find ourselves slowed by moving into shallow water. To get things moving again, simply go with the flow and keep your eyes on the prize. Mantras. I move like water around all and any obstacles. I go with the flow and find my way with ease. Reflections. In what way are you like a river? How can you embody this to your benefit? What ways could you flow more easily? I mean, does this just not go perfectly? Oh, look, Tony's here on TikTok. Tony, they were asking if you're my husband. um, so how was like perfect was that? Like with the river is like go with the flow, but then also, you know, keep the positive thoughts. And that's what I was saying in the beginning about the manifestation is like if you're judging yourself for not doing things perfectly, then you're preventing your process. Like, don't judge yourself. You don't what is for you is going to get to you. You're gonna flow down that river and always make it exactly where you need to go. But if you start, judging and getting all in your head and looking at what everybody else has and then start comparing what everybody else has down to what you need and now you're changing your manifestations and goals so that you can keep up with others and do it the way other people does or like have the money they do or the followers they do or this that they do or the house that they do or whatever, then you start finding yourself in those shallow waters and start getting off course or start going backwards down the river and start moving at, a pace that is not for you. You just channeled the idea of a river 1 hour ago, channeling to someone. Wow, beautiful. It's in the ether. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I think we're done for the day. Instagram had a live chat. It did have a live chat. I had 3 live chats. I had the Instagram chat, the TikTok chat, and the wow. So there's 74 people here, 76 here. 19 there. Wow. Instagram, you'll get there. You'll get there. Love the tie back. It always does. The cards always come together. Beautiful. They always come together. Oh, see, 75 and 75. It's equal. All right, guys. We really, we really pushed it for that one. We really went a long time with that one. Yeah. So thanks, guys. And thanks for being here. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. I don't think that I will be live. I think I'll pre-record it. So make sure on Tuesday, if you're watching on TikTok, Instagram, to go watch that over on YouTube. So, all right, guys. Bye. Thanks.